Kaba, what's cracking, y'all? This is JCJ. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. And today we're going to talk about somebody very special. Someone dear to your heart, someone dear to my heart, and someone who's made a big impact in the hip-hop world, someone who's made a big impact in popular culture, and someone who makes us proud to be a Black American. Who am I talking about? None other than Jeffrey. Gyro. Holla, holla. So, Mr. Gyro right now, there's a lot of news going on and buzz going on. And my 2 cents on that issue is definitely that, unfortunately, in our culture, Black culture, the Black community, they tend to look down on people that are hustling just like everybody else. At the end of the day, Ja Rule has lived a life 1,000 times the average person. I remember seeing Ja Rule around Times Square when I used to intern for Bad Boy. I remember seeing him have a Maybach when I was like 18 years old. And so my point is, he's already lived a lifestyle that some people could only dream about based on what he's obtained and what he's been able to provide for his family. So with that said, it's just very interesting how people now are trying to put him down and talk bad about him. Like if it's wrong that he's doing a commercial, like if it's wrong that he's deciding to do private parties when he could probably charge $10,000 a party, which is doable for the average person that wants to spend money on their wedding. And then he could make $100,000 just with 10 shows when it takes people so long to get $100,000 on the regular, the average person that has a good job. So with that said, it's just funny to kind of look at our community, how the backlash against him, how people are trying to not giving the best, feedback about the situation that he's going through, and really trying to be supportive of someone just making legal money, providing for their family, and still being relevant because he's trending. Apparently, he's doing big commercials at a low budget cost, and it's actually marketing times 1,000 because he's getting his return on investment back. Actually, the people who are hiring are getting their return on investment back. And so it's a great situation for him. I salute him. I think it's a great thing when entertainers, do stuff to make themselves relevant that are honorable. I think it's also a great thing that it shows is that entertainers are just human beings. At the end of the day, they're doing what they have to do to provide for their families, just like me and you. We're doing what we have to do to provide for our families. Whether it's working 2 jobs, whether it's taking a loan out, or whether it's taking any of our retirement out, doing things that we have to do, especially during the Corona season. And it's really important to look at. Why is Ja Rule really important to look at? Because not only at a disproportionate rate are Blacks being affected by the coronavirus, but so are Black entertainers. You get me? So are Black celebrities. And it shows the chink in their armor. So it shows that the wealth gap is really there. It really exists. And that in the Black community, there really is not that much money there. So when they're not able to do shows and parties and things like that, they cannot even survive to upkeep their lifestyle. That's nothing to be ashamed about, because at the end of the day, guess what? They're living better, most likely, than me and you. They're living a better lifestyle as far as the quality of life. So it's not nothing to look down on someone for. However, it's just very interesting to note that in the Black community, that's usually where you see the wealth gap. And when you look at the Bureau of Census, when you look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, and you see certain statistics within the Black community, you start to see how there really is no money there. There really is no money, right? And so to look down on Ja Rule for providing for his family, when most of us we really don't have any money. We're either living on credit or we're living on money that we saved and so forth, but it's not real generational wealth, right? It's not something that, say, if we passed away tomorrow, we're leaving $500,000 to our family like some other people in other cultures may be able to do. Okay? So me looking at his situation, I can understand where he's coming from. I think it's honorable. You know, it's not nothing really disparaging or anything offensive that he really did, even though you could kind of say it is. It's not as bad as Mary J. Blige and the chicken. So it could be worse. Let's keep in mind, it could always get worse, right? So just looking from a perspective of a Black American and looking at celebrities and certain things that they have to do just to survive, it's funny because it mirrors the average Black American life, you know, what they are going through currently right now, whether it's through small business, because even the business loans that they recently gave out, if your credit is not A1, you're not getting that loan, or rather that gift, rather. You're not getting the payment and so forth for your business under the CARES Act. It does not matter, you know, if you have a business that's been in play and you have people to give paychecks to and so forth. You have to have a level 1 credit and a history of maintaining your business and it being profitable, right? And so if you look at it, most Black business owners are not actually entrepreneurs. They're really self-employed, right? So they're not even entrepreneurs where they have multiple people that they can hire and so forth, and they can write off for certain tax benefits and things of that nature. So I think it's important to note that, because if we look at the whole Gyro situation, it starts to make more sense where we see his situation. It starts to make more sense where we understand, you know, where he's coming from, you know, where the lack of wealth really is, really what generational wealth is. Because a lot of these entertainers, they make money and then in a few years, it's gone. And being a pop star, what goes up has to come down. What goes up has to come down. You know, I remember being 18, seeing him with a Maybach. That's a fact. And so to look at the situation now, I'm not going to laugh at the next man. They're doing what they have to do to provide for their families. And from my understanding, he has kids that have even already graduated from college. So he's successful in a sense because he didn't. And so he's just making a generational situation of where education can be in his family and providing for his kids. I don't see anything wrong with that. I only see good stuff from that. And I wish my community would not look down on people, especially when you're not even in a good position to look down on someone. And that's something that I definitely can relate to, you know, because I have some people in my life that haven't even accomplished what I've accomplished, and yet they want to tell you how what you should do to be better, or they want to tell you what you shouldn't be doing because it doesn't look good. You get where I'm coming from? And these are people that have not even accomplished what I've accomplished, and yet they want to talk to me in a certain type of way. So with that said, it happens all the time. People in our community, we need to stop looking down on the Black celebrity like they're a god. And that's our problem, idolizing celebrities and putting them above educated people, putting them above certain people that they should have no reason to be above, right? Celebrities are too celebrated within the Black community. So looking at the Gyro situation, it actually points to a lot of stuff. It shows the lack of stability within the Black community. It shows the lack of wealth within the Black community. It also shows the lack of wealth within the people that supposedly have the most money in the Black community, which are the Black celebrities. So if they're dense in their armors, who can imagine what's in our armors, just being working class and middle class people? You know, I'm a big component that there needs to be certain social programs or reparations or certain things for ADOS people. And then for, generations who have been, traumatized, who have been underprivileged in certain communities. And me coming from that type of background, you know, it shows why reparations is ideal. It shows also why certain social programs should be implemented to help poor people in the Black community and people of color in general. Gyro, man, he shows so much. And I love to see stuff like this in some ways because it exposes a lot of the dynamics within our community. It exposes the Black celebrity in the veil that we see where we think that they're doing a lot better than they're doing. And then we try to put them down, that crab mentality, when someone is just trying to feed their family. Just like me and you. Sometimes we have to take 2 jobs just to do what we have to do. So with all of that said, I want to leave you guys, with, at the end of the day, I respect what Gyro's doing. It's nothing too bad. And I'm going to put this out here. I'm willing to wage money on this. 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. That first album is a straight up classic. No doubt about that. Let's talk about it. It's a straight up classic. But other than that album, all his other albums are garbage. And I would take Ja Rule's albums. I believe they have each the same amount of albums. 5 each. 5 each. I would take Ja Rule's 4 albums. And then I would take 50 Cent other 4 albums after Get Rich or Die Trying and put them against Ja Rule. And Ja Rule's going to win that. So y'all love to talk bad about Ja Rule. Y'all love to talk bad about Ja Rule. But man, he's a legend still. Quality music. And, let's not forget that he made the great movie, The Cookout, the legendary movie, all-time classic. So I'm going to leave that with you guys. And, one love, one people. And peace out, y'all. One love.